Good afternoon and welcome to the Time and Attendance Training session. My name is Barb Campbell and I am conducting today's training on behalf of Thompson and Hamel. They had asked me if I would conduct the manager's training for the TimeWorks Plus product. At this point, you should hopefully all be seeing my screen. On it is Thompson & Hamel's logo, so if you can see it, perfect, you're in the right place. Each one of you should have been given a web address and login credentials for accessing this particular web page. So it is under thompsonhamel.payrollservers.us/pg/login.aspx ? So you can access the time and attendance system from any browser. As long as you have an internet connection, you can get access to the timekeeping account. So in order to get started, like I mentioned, you need to have a login ID and a password. So I'm going to get started by putting in my login and entering my password. And the first step, or the first thing you'll want to do when you have logged in, is to go in and change your password. Each one of you should have been given a default generic password, and you'll want to update that. So from the main menu down towards the bottom, we have a few other menus. You'll need to go to the Settings menu. From the Settings menu, down to Update Personal Information, and then enter in your current password you were given, and then reset it to something you would know. Now, the password does require 8 characters minimum, so it can be a combination of alphanumeric or special characters in that password, but at least a minimum of 8, okay? So keep that in mind. And it is case sensitive as well. So another thing just to remember. Once you have done that, just save your personal information. And so now, at this point, we're going to go ahead and jump in and talk about the different features and areas that you're responsible for within the timekeeping system. Each time you log in, you will be presented with this dashboard view. So at the top, we have the quick stats. There's going to here under total missing punches, this is an area that you need to be aware of because you need to ensure that there are no missing punches. What a missing punch is that perhaps an employee clocked in and forgot to clock out, or they clocked out but never clocked in. So that's going to flag that employee in red as an indication that there is a missing punch. If there are, and you see that here, you can click on that link, and then it's going to list those employees down this left frame of the main menu and show you in red those employees with missing punches. Okay? Because we don't have any missing punches, I just don't get any results to show you at this point. You can go into this total current employee link here. This is going to give you a list of those employees you manage. Okay, so I'm managing the Ashland branch, and so I only see those employees who are assigned to the Ashland branch. Down below, back on the dashboard, are quick links. These would just be areas that you might access periodically, okay? So that's your dashboard view. So I'll go back to the main menu, clicking on that link. And now we're going to talk about this section, the time off request. You're not using timekeeping's time off request feature. That's something that's being done and managed through the HRS system. So you don't need to worry about that. Employee setup is just some of you may have permissions to access employee setup, others may not, so just be aware of that. That is permission-based of whether or not you're given access to employee setup. I'm just going to quickly go into my training employee here, and at the top you're just going to see identity information, first name, if there's a phone and email, for that employee, their start date. If you put your cursor on any of the field headings, that'll give you a brief description of what that field is for. So just an easy way if you're not quite sure what that field is looking for. Down below is the login and password information. So we have here login/numbers. So what can happen is that every employee can be given a login ID so that they can access the employee portal or use the web clock. And if you want to also give them an additional identifier, it's just as easy as clicking on edit. Maybe you want to give them a 5-digit PIN number that they're always going to remember. So you could assign an additional number that they could use as well, okay? Some people have physical time clocks, and this is where we put in the card that they might be using, card number that is associated with that employee when they're clocking in and out from a physical clock, okay? The next thing, we have the password, where this password has been set and changed by the employee. Now, we do the same thing with employees that we do with, you as a supervisor. Initially, you're given a generic password. For employees, we do force them to reset their password the first time they log in. You as a supervisor, you're not forced to change it, so it's just a matter of you making certain that you go in and take that action to change it. The passwords never expire, so you don't have to constantly be changing it and then trying to remember, now what's my new password, okay? So once you've set the password, it's set, and that's the same thing for employees at this point as well. Next section down below is just employee data. We can associate supervisors to each employee. Otherwise, we can set it up to where a supervisor only has visibility to a specific branch, and that's basically how I've set myself up as a supervisor in this training. Okay, so just be aware of that. These home fields are actually used for custom scripting. We're able to customize the timekeeping solution. Maybe you have some specific needs that isn't just, out of the box, and so we can do some customizations if necessary. So that's your employee setup. So now I'm going to go down into the time card section. So it's within the time cards where you would probably spend the majority of any time in maintaining the system. And under time cards, you'll see we'll have this multiple time card editor. This is just a fast and easy way to go maybe to a particular date. Let me just go to tomorrow's date here. And if I want to just quickly add, it's going to open up these fields. All I have to do is just click in them, and I can change a category. I can select a different department, okay, and even add a comment. So if I want to add that this employee has, let's just say, what we have, sick time. So they are calling in sick. I can click on sick. Then I would need to click in the number of hours of sick time, and then if I want to, I can put in a comment, out sick, and then just hit enter. And at the very bottom, I'd have to click then to save the changes, okay? And that would save those 8 hours of sick time, okay? If there are missing punches and you have a group of people with missing punches, excuse me, you can click on the time card options here and then say, just show me only missing punches. And that's a fast and easy way just to go in and put in, the out or in punches to correct those time cards. So multiple time card editor just presents it and opens up all the fields. Whereas if you go into a today's entry, oh, that was yesterday's. Let me go to, okay, actually we're in now today's entries. Yesterday's entries, that was in the prior pay period, and that pay period has been finalized as an indication that all of the hours were now pushed over to payroll, to process the payroll, and we're not going to allow you to edit or make any changes to a prior pay period. So if I go now, and that was yesterday's entries, okay, so if I go to today's entries, here we are in the first day of the current pay period where I have the column and I'm able to add or edit. So if on my testing person down here, I click edit and their out time should have been 6 p.m., I can come in and change it to 6 p.m. I can also put in a comment. And when I add a comment to this entry, what it does is it puts in this little yellow dog ear here at the top right as an indication that there is a comment that was added to that entry. When you put your cursor over any of the times, that's going to bring up a punch history log. So this shows anyone who had entered in any data. Looks like someone, Valerie, had entered some data on this test employee. And then you see number 3 there, that's myself, KT Bank, that I edited and added the 6 hours. And then you see the comment that's kind of italicized there as testing training. So we're going to track and capture all of the changes that you make, who did it, on what day and what time. So we have a really nice audit trail. You're able to, from the time card options up here at the top, you can also change your view and again just show only missing punches, and that would reduce that list down to show only missing punches. If you were using, and I thought you guys did have rounding rules turned on, it looks like people are manually entering in their time. Yeah, Janet. Anyway, it's showing in kind of a bold as an indication that these employees have manually added their hours, okay? So manually adding the hours shows up in blue. If it was from an actual web clock or from a punch, then it would be in black. So if I go into my test training, I might have something that I can show you in the past here. Yeah. So anything that you see here in green, this is in green because we have rounding turned on, and rounding is only going to work if the employee is actually clocking in and out from a web clock. Okay, if they're just manually going in and adding their times, then it's just showing up in blue. All right, so that's kind of the difference in colors on the time cards. Also within the time cards, there's a little printer icon that you can go in and print the time card to a PDF. So if you want to print out time cards, you have that option. Again, you can go to previous pay period, next pay period, or actually go to a specific pay period. Okay, so that's how that would work up here at the top. There's also, their name is a link that would take you right back into employee setup. So if you needed to go in and make any changes here, that link takes you to employee setup to make any changes. I can just hit my browser button to go back, and now I'm back into the time card. So we're going to capture obviously the hours, and then at the bottom, total up any regular hours, sick hours, vacation hours, etc. Okay. All right, so that's your employee's time card. And next, down under the current pay period, when we have the list presented here, there's 3 columns you'll always see. M is for a missing punch. So if the employee puts in an in punch and now next day comes along and there's not a matching out punch, that will be flagged in red, that they forgot to add their out punch. Anything under the E column, that's an indication that there have been edits made to the time card. And then the last column is our approval column. So again, just to recap, if you want to add anyone's hours just directly from an employee's time card, you can go to their time card, click on Add, select whether or not they're vacation or sick, enter in the number of hours, and then just save that record. That's how easy it is to add. If you want to delete it, you'll have to click on Edit, then select Delete, confirm, and now that deletes that entry, and you'll see the little trash can. So anything that's deleted, we still save in our audit log. Back to the main menu. There's also, the previous pay period, and then you can also select other pay periods to where if you want to put in a specific range of time, then you could come in. I want to see everything from 3/1 until today, 3/22, and then it's going to bring up the employee. So now you'll see here that the training employee has 2 missing punches, and it's in red, okay? So again, red is an indication that there's missing punches, and because the pay period has been finalized, okay, I can't make any edits or changes. So ultimately, if this was a real employee, they were just shorted hours because those missing punches were not corrected, okay? So please be aware of that and ensure that you've accounted for missing punches and or have added any additional pay categories for, paid time off. Back to the main menu. Now we're going to cover the electronic time card approval process. And so under the multiple time card approval, this to me is the fastest way to go in and approve employees' time. Okay, so once you have made all of the corrections to time cards and added their hours, you can come in, just check it off, and then down here at the bottom, let me uncheck that, you can approve those employees that you have selected to approve the time card. Otherwise, your option would be, under the current pay period, go into that employee's time card. From the time card option, go to time card and then approve all entries. When you approve all entries, what that's going to do is change, and let me just do it on one day so you can get the visual here. I'm just going to select today, Monday, from the time card, go to the approved time card and then approve the selected day. When I select that day and approve it, it changes the icon from yellow to green as an indication that that time card has now been approved. Okay, so there's 2 levels of approval. There's the supervisor level, and then there's a management approval level. So the managers then who are, getting it ready to process payroll want to make certain that you have gone in and approved all the employees' time cards, and it's going to change, again, that icon from yellow to green. So a really simple process would be to just use the approve all entries option within the time card to approve it for that pay period. Next thing, back under the time card, you can also, if you want to print off all of the employees that you manage their time cards, the fastest and easiest way, instead of going in and out of each time card, would be coming back here to the current pay period, and you have this option here to print all time cards. So I can just go in and alphabetically select this, and it just displays, as I scroll down here, each employee's time card and print that off. Okay, so that's only if you want to print off a physical, timesheet. Next, we have the maintenance menu. And under maintenance menu, a few things that you can do is you can set up employee groups. What employee groups are helpful for is by creating a group specific to a person who manages, let's say, everyone in a certain branch. Well, because you only have a set group of employees. So we just see those employees in a group here. It's a list group. But employee groups are just used as a way of filtering reports and combining information together all within a group. So that's employee groups. Where that is helpful is under this quick add time card entries, that if you have a group where maybe it's just specific employees, then you've checked off those employees. Otherwise, you can use the employee groups, and you would only see the groups that are visible to you. So here you only see your list group. And then you can add entries. So maybe you want to add the holiday for March 25th, which is Good Friday. So maybe you want to give everyone a holiday hours. You can select holiday, come down to 8 hours, and then add the 8 hours, click submit. And that will automatically post 8 hours of holiday to each one of those employees. So that's what the quick time card entries is. Unmatched punches is something that typically you shouldn't ever see. That usually is associated with employees who are actually using a physical time clock. Next section, we're going to talk about the different reports. You are limited to only see some reports. There's a few more that the administrators will see, but some of the most commonly used reports would be first, the summary report. So summary reports are generally run at the beginning of a pay period or end of a pay period. So if I run it for this prior pay period, click submit, then I'm able to see all the employees who have hours, and it's broken out by pay category. So 26.5 regular hours, 8 sick, and 10 vacation. Again, it's in red, so that's an indication that this employee did have missing punches. And I can click on that, which would take me right to the time card so that I can make those corrections. Once I do that, hit my browser button, come back, and then that would have given this employee those additional hours that right now they're kind of short for that week. So that's the summary report. I like it because it's going to give you, all the hours broken out by pay code. Another report is a detail report. This report is actually going to give you all of the punch detail. So we can see here on Heidi, her in time, her out time, she's back in from lunch, and then she's out for the day, and total hours. So this shows every in and out punch for the employee. So that's the detail report. Next, we have the time card approvals report. Your approvals report is going to show you if you had maybe not yet approved a specific employee's time card. So again, on this prior pay period, it shows that none of those have been approved yet. And what's nice about this report, notice it shows the 2 missing punches. Okay, so I know I can't approve it until I have corrected those missing punches. Maybe other reports, you may from time to time want to run out the punch notes reports. Another one would be a labor report. If you want to actually build a report to see how many hours or total hours for a pay period your employees have worked. So you will build this report each time you come in. So I'm going to select the hours, and I'm going to do it by category. And I want to also include the department. And I may want the last and first name of the employee on this report. And then down below, you'll see how it is started to build that report. So I have the category, department, first, last name. Well, I can take and move my column. So maybe I want it to be first, last name first. And I'm going to subtotal off of each employee. And I could do the same thing if I wanted to subtotal off of category. So again, depending on how you want to sort and subtotal, you can just select from each one of the column headers. But we'll just go ahead and run this report. So now I see the total hours by regular hours for each employee. Okay, so labor report, if you want to try and put or create your own report to collect hours. Last area, really settings menu. The only thing you would do is update personal information. There is this optional employee bulletin. If you as a manager want to communicate maybe an upcoming training or event, conference, whatever with your employees, you can come in and create an announcement that they're going to see when they log in to the employee portal. So I'm going to say there's an upcoming training, and I want it to start ahead of time. So they're kind of given a heads up. So I'm going to say start announcing this, so they start seeing it as of today. And then the training is going to be on the 30th. So I'm going to actually end it on that day. And then I'm going to put in training scheduled March 30th at 9, whatever your message is that you want to communicate. You can save that. Now, employees from their dashboard in the employee portal will see this message. So that's the employee bulletins. Last section is your help section. This is going to be useful as you're learning the timekeeping system. We have a lot of how-to articles. You can search off of keywords, or we have a site menu here, or you can just browse alphabetically, okay? So if you want to know how to add a comment to a time card, you can either view it, or you can print the PDF over here. So 2 ways to be able to get a how-to or learn how to do something within the timekeeping system. All right. So at this point, those really are all the areas that you need to become familiar with. And again, the most important area is just managing the employees' time cards and their hours, okay? So that makes it easier to be able to process payroll. So if you have any questions, you need any additional help, again, you have the help section. You can also get with Thompson and Hamill. They're a great resource for you as well, and will take really good care of you. So thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.